Live from downtown Oklahoma City, Oklahoma's own News 9 starts now.
Oklahoma's marijuana program is no longer viewed as the Wild West of weed. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Amanda Taylor.
And I'm Karl Torp. That according to the State Bureau of Narcotics. News 9's Deanne Stein live outside OBN headquarters in Oklahoma City with more on what the agency is doing to combat illegal grow operations. Deanne.
Karl, Amanda, OBN attributes a lot of that to a team it created several years ago that focuses solely on illegal grow operations here in Oklahoma.
Almost every day, our marijuana enforcement teams here at the Bureau of Narcotics are serving a warrant.
OBN spokesperson Mark Woodward says those operations are either operating with a fraudulent license or growing for the out-of-state black market, or in a lot of cases, both.
Whether they were tied to Mexican cartels, the Chinese organized crime, Russian, Bulgarian, you name it, we've identified them.
He says during the pandemic, a rush of these criminal organizations invaded Oklahoma, finding a local person to front the operation.
And that has played out thousands of times. We were at our peak 3 years ago. We were at 9,400 grows. About 80% of those were Chinese, linked to organized crime that were supplying the black market on the East Coast.
The latest raid in Ardmore was one of the agency's largest, seizing more than 106,000 marijuana plants and about 1,100 pounds of processed marijuana. 2 people were arrested.
It's a shell game that these criminals know how to play. Sometimes they will get 8 or 9 licenses for one property.
But Woodward says the state is on to this game and has helped bring down the number of grows to 3,000.
Every license application is going under a microscope. Then we're bringing them in and sitting across the table, walking them through their paperwork.
Sending a new message to those looking to profit here illegally.
The word's gotten out, don't go to Oklahoma if you're going to be a criminal, because you're going to go to jail.
Now, OBN says local people who agree to be a front to these operations could also face criminal charges. Live in Oklahoma City, Deanne Stein, Oklahoma's own News 9.
Deanne, thanks. The state also not processing any new applications for dispensary, grower, or processor licenses. That moratorium does not affect current licensees who wish to renew.
From the Bob Mills Weather Center, Oklahoma weather expert, Cassie Hyder.
Well, we have had some rain in parts of the state since earlier today. A lot of that really taking place across far southeast to Oklahoma, and that's where the chances have been, and that's where they will continue to be in the days ahead, it looks like. So southeast Oklahoma at least getting somewhat of a decent rain, while the rest of us not really seeing a whole lot of that at all. We've seen lots of sunshine, clouds bubbling up with the heating of the day, but now even some of those are going away. This is our El Reno camera, part of our Lucky Star Sky Chem network. We're at 89 degrees. That wind is out of the east now. Northeast at 5 miles an hour, so it's been very light. We're at 92 in Guthrie, 93 in Piedmont, 90 degrees right now in Midwest City. We've got lots of upper 80s and low 90s across the eastern half of the state, but out to the west, lots of low to even some upper 90s now showing up around Greer County. As we go throughout the evening, temperature slowly coming down. By about 9 o'clock, we should be in the low 80s. We're going to stay mostly clear. Tomorrow afternoon, we're looking for those 90s to return. We're going to talk about when the hundreds return coming up in just a little bit, guys.
Cassie, thanks. President Joe Biden is set to address the nation in less than an hour for the first time since dropping out of the presidential race.
Vice President Kamala Harris is now the likely Democratic nominee. News 9's Washington Bureau Chief Alex Cameron joins us live outside the White House with what we can expect tonight. Alex?
Well, Amanda, Karl, 7 o'clock Central is when the president is scheduled to speak and perhaps answer some of the many questions Americans have about this truly unprecedented decision. The president returned from Delaware yesterday after 5 days in self-imposed isolation after testing positive for COVID. It was there at his vacation home in Rehoboth Beach that he made this decision and first informed the nation he was discontinuing his bid for a second term. Now, we know the president had been under increasing pressure from Democratic leaders, including from some of the most respected members of the party, to withdraw from the race after his disastrous debate performance last month. So we'll be watching tonight to see what, if any, reference he makes to that pressure that was being put on him. Now, I went to the press briefing today here at the White House, the first one, by the way, since this announcement. So the questions were focused predominantly on this decision by the president, and on this question in particular: how could President Biden go from defiantly proclaiming his candidacy one day to relinquishing it the next? Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre did a pretty good job of kind of sidestepping some of the specifics, but said that the decision was made in consultation with some family members, with close advisors. It was made very quickly, but that we'd have to listen to the president tonight. We wanted to get more information to get a full explanation. She did, however, very strongly push back on the notion that his decision had anything to do with health reasons. So we'll be watching for how he frames this. Also be watching to hear how he intends to finish out his term. He was certain to touch on some of the accomplishments of his presidency, but how does he hope to build on those with the time he has left? So I'll be listening for that. I'll be watching this speech, and I'll join you back here tonight at 10 o'clock. Live at the White House, I'm Oklahoma's own Alex Cameron.
All right, Alex, we appreciate it. And new tonight here at 10 o'clock, Oklahoma leaders react to President Biden's first speech since pulling out of the presidential election. We are live with team coverage from both sides coming up tonight at 10.
And News 9 has learned Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance will be right here in Oklahoma City on Friday for a private fundraising event. An Oklahoma City banker is hosting it. It will feature, of course, Vance, Oklahoma U.S. Senator Markwayne Mullin, Governor Kevin Stitt, and also Attorney General Gentner Drummond. And we spoke to several Oklahoma Republicans who are excited the VP candidate is visiting our state.
I love him. I didn't know a whole lot about him, but I'd heard about him, I'd read about him. Every time I'd seen him and heard him speak, I thought he was different, a little bit different. And
Tickets for the private event are sold out. They actually started at $5,000 apiece. Oklahoma City Police and the Oklahoma Highway Patrol tell us they are helping Secret Service with security at the event.
New at 6, police need help identifying a woman who stole merchandise from the Academy Sports in Edmond. Investigators say this happened June 22nd at the store near Broadway and 33rd. Police say that she stole 5 toddler Nike outfits with a value of over $100. If you know who this person is or you know anything about this case, you were asked to call Edmond Police at the number on your screen.
AAA reminding drivers of some important steps as this is National Vehicle Theft Prevention Month. The agency says to never leave our vehicle running with the key in it, even if we're going to be away for just a short time, and never leave the keys anywhere in your parked vehicle.
Oklahoma City Animal Welfare says its shelter is over capacity. What it is now having to do coming up.
Toby Keith built